doing this live, or even the day of, you might find that the videos are kind of hidden beneath a stack of Navaratri themed videos. Navaratri, a celebration of the divine feminine, is coming up, next week. And we will focus on the Gita, but this is unusual a lot of times. The Gita and the feminine. So feminine characters and the manifestation of the divine through this story. I hope you'll join us for that. There will also be a free live event. Well, it's by donation if you care to donate. And once this is done, I will get the link down there that you can use if you would like to participate. We'll have some spots in person and spots online. Yep, a busy time coming up. I hope you can hear me. It's raining a lot today. It's going to make turning off the tech interesting at the end. Hopefully I don't zap myself. Woo! We're looking again at chapter 5 in the section of What's Your Path? So as I've mentioned, the Gita outlines many paths. Yoga outlines many paths. Life, especially in the West, gives us options for many paths. I mean, just think of going to the grocery store and picking out a cereal. There's like a wall of cereal. So much so in our lives, too, there's a wall of choices, which can be great, but it also can leave us paralyzed. So Arjun's trying to figure out the best choice for him, and Krishna is saying all paths lead the same way. So as long as you pick one, and you don't have to be wed to it, if another one serves you at a different time of life or a different time of day, you go with that. But first we have to know what the paths are. So this is a confusing one. In the Sanskrit, it's called Karma Sannyas Yoga, chapter 5. And that means the yoga of giving up action. So in India at one point, no, was it in India? No, it was in Colombia. Yeah. I was initiated as a karma sannyasin, which meant that I was supposed to examine my actions carefully and look at giving them up to the greater good. A lot of service, for example. Krishna is advising Arjun not to give up acting, but to do his actions, however, to renounce the result. And this is a little confusing. And in fact, Arjun says, why don't we just skip to the end of, how about I totally renounce action and don't do anything at all? Why do action at all if I'm just going to renounce its effects? What's the point? And Krishna is trying to help his friend avoid spiritual bypassing, which is trying to skip to the end without going through the middle on any spiritual path. It doesn't work. So I'll read to you from chapter 5. I'm going to be in verse 2 of chapter 5. If you want to join along, if you have one of your books, or you can simply listen. And I'm chanting in the original Sanskrit meter. Both the renunciation of action and acting consciously lead to the supreme goal, but of these two, acting is far better. And then I'm going to go to verse 6. But without acting, mighty one, renouncing is hard to attain. A wise hermit who acts fully reaches the highest self quickly. So this can be, very tempting. It's like, okay, renouncing the results of action. Let's just skip and not do anything. And this can be an excuse for laziness. I don't want to say laziness. Keeping yourself safe from feeling like you're making the wrong decisions or doing the wrong thing or having to pay for the consequences of your actions. I mean, that can be tempting, even especially for a perfectionist like myself. Well, if I can't do it perfectly, ooh, renouncing actions. Why don't I just not do it? Then I don't have to worry about if it's not perfect, which means I don't have to face my own perfectionism and I don't have to face my attachment, because even if I didn't do actions according to this chapter, since I'm a perfectionist, I would be thinking now, am I not doing actions perfectly? And that would consume me. Oh, wait, I took a breath. And I would get into this mental turmoil. And this is exactly what we don't need in the heat of battle. Arjun's about to start a war. He doesn't need to be sitting there going, while everything's happening all around him. So here's a key point from this chapter in these verses that we can tease out. You can't renounce anything you don't already have. So Krishna is saying to Arjun, if you don't act, how can you renounce action? So for example, I could say, I renounce my birthright as heir to the British throne, except I don't have any standing as an heir to the British throne. So that's like worthless. That's silly. I renounce eating tin cans. Oh, I've never eaten a tin can. So there's no real giving up. When I was at the ashram in India, actually, some of them are so nice that people that come into the ashram from the neighboring poor environments, that's actually a nicer place than they have to live. I mean, they have food, they have clothing, they have shelter. So for them, it's not really renouncing as much as for somebody who comes from a lot of wealth, a lot of decision making in their own lives, and comes and gives up. Now, I'm not saying that people of any social structure or status shouldn't come to the ashram. I'm just saying that if you're looking at renouncing, the more you have of something, the more effort it's going to take to renounce generally, because we as humans like to hold on to lots of stuff. We might know people like that, right? Stacks of stuff, or tons of emails, or tons of pictures on the phone. Oh my gosh. For many of us, just think, we have tons of pictures on our phone. What if we just deleted all, like 7,000, 8,000, 9,000 of them? That makes us go, but these photos are fragments of memories that we just keep going to and replaying instead of living in the now. So this can be an example of giving up the past and our connection to it obsessively so that we can live fully in the now. But if we only had one picture on our phone or no phone, it wouldn't mean anything. Today, I challenge you as you sit to think of something that you would have a lot of difficulty giving up and contemplate why. Why does that mean something to you? And it could be action, which is what Arjun's looking at. Arjun so wants to act, and he needs to fully understand what acting is before he can give it up. So we need to fully understand what we've got. You can even think of, what do you have that you're lucky to have? And what would it mean to give that up and jump into the unknown? Now I'm jumping into the unknown. It's quite rainy. We'll see how it goes. We'll find out. All righty. I'm going to pull this closer, but not too close. Let's switch. time to sit. See you in 5. Welcome back. Got a little towel here. It's handy. Today is actually the perfect weather for this because, one of the reasons I chose to do my practice outside in Cleveland, as opposed to, say, if I were in LA or Hawaii, where the weather is more constant, is that it's an effort. I'm giving up something us Westerners have become very accustomed to, which is comfort, climate control. And I'm just giving it up for a few minutes a day. But it really feels like I'm giving something up when this happens. Yay. But you see all the creatures back here that were flying around? This is life to them. It's not giving up anything. This is all like mental gymnastics. And if you're finding it to be so, tomorrow's path, which works with the mind, may be of use. I'm dedicating whatever small merit I may get from spending just a few minutes outside today to those who have no choice but to be outside and uncomfortable no matter the weather. You're an inspiration. Sometimes we look down on these people, but they have a joy and a light all their own. So to them and to you, see you again soon.